Mark Zuckerberg announced a policy shift across the Meta platforms in favor of free speech. He's going to replace fact checkers with a type of community notes like X has, and is lifting restrictions on certain topics and language. Stunning and brave.
Oh my God, it's Mark Zuckerberg!
And completely predictable to see opportunistic cowards jump on the bandwagon now that it's safe to do so. I'm not bitter or anything.
Welcome to the party, pal!
We're happy to have you, truly. I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your Dumpster Fire! Welcome to Dumpster Fire, where we make burgers out of your sacred cows. This week, we'll be taking aim at Zuckerberg, whose rebrand was probably the most predictable thing of 2025 out of all of the unpredictability we've seen. The best part of his whole announcement is that he's moving the content moderation out of California and into Texas because the content moderators in California are too biased.
Fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created. We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
He could have just said woke, but he can't say woke. Zuck is notoriously opportunistic. In this announcement, he talks about how we're going back to our roots of giving the people power. Yeah, the power to rate hot chicks, which is how the Facebook started for anyone who didn't know or hasn't seen Social Network. It's also opportunistic because with the impending TikTok ban coming, there will be millions of online refugees, homeless and displaced, looking for a place to settle with their millions of viewers. Zuck is hoping to gain from this ban by leaning back into political content, which flourishes on TikTok and has been shadow banned and minimized on Facebook Meta platforms.
We're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed. So we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again.
And he's obviously currying favor with Trump in advance of the upcoming April trial between the FTC and Meta. It is very convenient timing since Meta is being sued by the FTC for antitrust and privacy violations.
Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
I do also believe a lot of this is genuine because he started raising his own meat and doing jujitsu.
I am the founder and chairman of Facebook, but I also have a style that is completely unblockable.
So now he's become a bro and is leaning into his masculinity. He shook off his feminized nerd boy self. Congratulations, but it's too little too late. He was on Rogan recently, kind of rehabbing his image, and even Rogan subtly digs him for lying to our faces.
You were just lying to us about this, that, and the other thing, and now I'm supposed to believe you're one of the good guys. You're one of the straight shooters now.
Yeah.
Why does anybody trust this guy at all? It doesn't bother me that he's pivoted, by the way. I think it's good. I hope YouTube follows. But he takes zero responsibility for his role in these policies to begin with. He always acts like some unwashed baby who's just come into the world going, how did this happen?
Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more.
He takes no responsibility for his role in these policies to begin with, and for going along with it, not speaking out, not pushing back, complying with every DEI suggestion. That's my issue.
What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far.
These people who are pivoting, welcome.
A lot of successful startups launched with a different business model, and when they ran into trouble, they pivoted to something new, right?
Welcome. You're pivoting into the new mainstream, and I get it.
Let's pivot. Let's pivot.
But you're taking no risk in speaking out now, and you're going to benefit from all the people who took huge risks. Even Elon, my nemesis, took a huge risk in what he did with X, with his finances, and by speaking out against the dominant narrative. That was a big risk, and it emboldened a lot of people to share that risk with him, including Zuck, who's using community notes as his template now for his content moderation on Meta.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X.
People were banned from his platform during the plague and the January 2021 riot of buffoons. It would take nothing for Zuck to go on a podcast like Rogan's and apologize, admit he had no balls, that they finally dropped, and he won't do it again. But he won't do this. He won't do this. He will just act like he had nothing to do with any of these policies that were put in place or the bannings. And then he'll show up, pivot into the new mainstream and be like, here I am, guys, surfing with my American flag into the new zeitgeist. I would like a little bit more responsibility from Zuck for all the people that he deplatformed, silenced, and banned. A lot of these people who are pivoting into the mainstream, again, it's fine. Go for it. We need you. I don't like the infighting. I think this fight requires all of us. I'm happy to welcome anyone new to the party, but don't act like there weren't people who were there before you taking enormous risk. They'll go on their platforms and expect these heroes' welcomes, be taking all of these accolades from also new reformed people who are just waking up, and they won't use their platforms to boost anybody who went before them, who many of these people are still canceled, not welcome in polite society, not welcome on boards, couldn't get a job as a CEO. I'm still probably unemployable in most polite society places. So people took these massive risks for the past 5 years, and I am very happy to see that the mainstream is waking up. That is exciting. That is good. Just don't act like you're a hero for doing it now and that you're brave for waking up 5 years too late when it's safe. What infuriates me is that many of these people would not be saying any of this had Harris won.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech.
So if you are somebody who's like, hey, I'm brave now, I'm like waking up, I'm not doing this anymore, cool, congratulations. But if you wouldn't have said that if Harris had won, go fuck yourself. Thank you. We need you now, but I don't trust you. I don't trust that you're not going to pivot the minute it's convenient to yourself and your brand. I don't trust that you're not going to throw anyone under the bus that you would associate with now if the winds change again, which they probably will now that this is the dominant zeitgeist. Now that these are the mainstream, there will be a counterculture to this now. And so here we are. Meta's taking the tampons out of the men's room. We've been writing a musical on Dumpster Fire for years, since we started the show. And one of our favorite songs that we've been working on is, there are tampons in the men's room, and we're going to go to war. There are tampons in the men's room. That's what we are fighting for. And then they're loading the guns. Speaking of taking the tampons out of the men's room, we have a new sponsor, XXXY Athletics. They're the only athletic brand that actually stands up for women's sports and spaces, and they've taken a lot of heat for doing so. In fact, they made a video during the Olympics. That was banned by Instagram. So speaking of someone who's been dealing with the actual bans that Zuck enforced and either co-signed, this brand has been fighting the good fight, and I'm proud to be affiliated with them. I love them, and they are definitely screaming women from the rooftops. Not one athletic brand has stood up for girls, even as more and more males enter our sports and spaces, but XXXY Athletics has boldly taken a stand. So I gotta ask, why would you buy from other athletic brands that are selling women out? XXXY Athletics makes everything from super soft, comfy sweats and fleece to cotton tees and performance wear, including leggings, bike shorts, workout shirts, with moisture-wicking fabrics for men and women. And there's tons of new stuff coming in for the spring. Go to thetruthfits.com. Use the code Dumpster20 for 20% off. That's thetruthfits.com and use the code Dumpster20 for 20% off. The link is in the description below. Before our next segment, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, touch my bells and buttons, tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is still the best way to tell anyone about anything. And please help us reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now let's check the weather with Andrea Canchola.
Que es un suceso muy común en esta temporada, se da muy común. Las temperaturas máximas en Mérida llegarán a los 37 grados.
That is one full body suit, Andrea. Thank you.
Troll in chief again.
Trump announced he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. He may or may not use military force to annex Greenland and retake the Panama Canal. And he hints at using economic force to make Canada the 51st state.
They're not even a real country anyway.
I don't know why people were worried about him being a dictator. This all seems perfectly reasonable to me.
And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords.
Canada and Greenland would be great additions to America, whether they want to be or not. He's back, baby! We've been waiting for this moment at Dumpster Fire, our bread and butter, for Trump to start trumping again.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. It's beautiful.
Trump is renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which is absolutely amazing. I love that you can just rename things.
Can he even do that?
Who knows? Who named it the Gulf of Mexico?
I don't know. Where did this name come from? How long has it been the Gulf of Mexico?
How did we lose the Gulf of Mexico to Mexico? We should ask Grok. Spanish explorer Amerigo Vespucci, during his exploration in 1497, he referred to the body of water as Golfo de Mexico on his maps, which is where the name Gulf of Mexico originates from.
Donald Trump or any U.S. president does not have the unilateral authority to rename geographical features like the Gulf of Mexico.
Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please.
Yeah, I didn't think he could just rename it on a whim. I feel like presidents would have been doing that for a long time now.
That's why I love Trump. He's like, we're renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. It would have a very beautiful name. We're taking it back from Mexico.
Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
We've talked about Greenland before, right?
He mentioned Greenland in his last presidency, wanting to acquire it. And I feel like I've read something where it's like, it's not a terrible idea.
Well, from a national security standpoint, it would make a good base, but they're also mineral rich.
Yeah.
You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. We need them for economic security.
The Panama Canal, I guess we seeded that in our lifetime.
The U.S. built the Panama Canal.
The Panama Canal was built for our military.
Officially ceded control of the Panama Canal to Panama December 31st, 1999.
What do we know? Nothing here at Dumpster Fire, because we are not a news show. So go ask Grok all of your questions about the Panama Canal. He hints at using economic force to make Canada the 51st state.
Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like.
The best part of this entire news conference, and the weirdest line of all of it, which, God bless him, he's back. There were a lot of weird lines, but he was like, you get rid of that artificially drawn line. Excuse me, bro in chief, if I may. Aren't you the party that's supposed to be securing those artificially drawn lines? Am I mistaken in thinking that many of us voted for Trump to secure the border, not just erase those artificially drawn lines? That's the most globalist lib thing I've heard out of his mouth in a long time. That sounds like me in my 20s when I was like, there's no such thing as illegal immigration. Humans can't be illegal. What are borders other than artificially drawn lines by men on maps? What is going on right now that is just a line everybody brushed by? I didn't even really hear anyone comment on it. It seems like all of the people who are pro-Trump are perfectly fine with some of these borders being artificially drawn lines and others being borders that we must build a wall. I don't get it.
I use all the best rocks from the site to build a wall. Dip it in gold and make Mexico pay for it all.
I mean, to me, it was also him just being like, imagine how beautiful that would be, Canada and the US. I'm like, he literally just wants to be king of this whole territory.
Yeah, no, he's like, imagine how beautiful that would be, me being in charge of all of this North American land except for Mexico. Fuck that. We don't want Mexico. Mexico can stay down there. They're making the fentanyl. They're selling it to the people. If they keep sending the fentanyl, we will bomb Mexico. Maybe we should focus on, cleaning up our side of the street before we go on taking over other parts of the world. I'm not an expert, but we've got some problems here in America. And I don't know that we need to take on the problems of Canada, which has a notoriously dysfunctional healthcare system, even though everyone's like, it's the best, while they wait so long they die. And Greenland, which probably has some problems of its own because Denmark doesn't even want it, and Denmark doesn't have anything.
We like hockey, and nobody really pays any attention to us.
Nobody knows what Denmark is.
Right.
So I'd be a little unsure of why they're offloading Greenland on us. We are Rome, truly. We're just still trying to expand our empire while everyone at home dies and the whole thing burns and collapses.
I apologize for nothing.
Anyways, on that light note, I'm happy he's back. Let's take a minute to hear from our next sponsor. You've all heard me talk about my Bone Charge red light face mask and how much I love it. Getting older sucks. That's all there is to it. It's not for the faint of heart. That's why I love my Bond Charge red light face mask. I use it for 10 minutes every night. You can use it while you're watching TV or cooking a meal or putting the kids to bed, even though I think that would be terrifying for children. But for me, it's my me time. It's my 10 minutes to myself that I can stop and think and do something for myself that I know will help me look and feel better. The red light face mask boosts collagen and elastin production and helps get rid of those fine lines and wrinkles. It also helps with sore jaw, eczema, migraines, acne, scar tissue, wound healing, razor burns, and even ingrown facial hairs. I've seen a noticeable difference in my fine lines and wrinkles and even my sunspot, and my skin looks younger and glowing, and it just helps me feel fresh and amazing. Go to bondcharge.com/Bridget and use coupon code Bridget to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/Bridget, BRIDGET, and use coupon code Bridget to save 15% off. This is a great deal for our viewers. The link is in the description below.
Phetasy News.
If you love Dumpster Fire, the best thing you can do is become a supporter at Phetasy.com. You now get 2 unedited Dumpster Fires a week that are behind the paywall. See how the sausage is made. See what we leave on the cutting room floor. See Maggie and I banter and talk about ridiculous things. You get that the day before the edited version drops, and you also get access to everything else we're doing, and it's a lot. We are changing the Dumpster Fire launch schedule. They will now launch Tuesday and Friday evenings for the foreseeable future. We're just trying new things out while we have this new schedule. Become a member of our free newsletter at Phetasy.com, and we will send notifications out for when we're launching. That is the best way to keep in touch with us and keep track of all of the things we're doing. We moved Walk-Ins Welcome off of this YouTube channel onto its own. So please, everyone run over there. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Walk-Ins Welcome with Bridget Phetasy. There's a link in the description below. I always have fantastic guests, a lot of big ones coming this year. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you to everyone who helps make Dumpster Fire possible. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our audience, subscribers, supporters. We love you. And now to cleanse your palate, the internet is glorious.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Remember, life is absurd. Don't take yourself so damn seriously. Take the work seriously. Don't take yourself seriously. This has been your Dumpster Fire. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich so I can be an oligarch who has to rehab my image.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns.